40 days after the death of her husband Michael, Anna lived in a fog of grief. Nights were silent, and the village felt hollow without him. She often sat on the porch beneath the August sky, remembering how they used to watch shooting stars together. Their deepest wish had always been the same: a child. For nearly 10 years, they had tried everything: doctors, treatments, traveling to the capital for specialists, but nothing changed the diagnosis of infertility. Michael once raised the idea of adoption, but Anna feared she would never be able to fully love a child she hadn't carried.
$3.50,
He never
please.
pushed her.
Thank you.
And they settled into a quiet, hard-working life on the farm.
They just stormed in.
Michael had been a strong,
They just
respected
burst in and
farmer.
grabbed him.
After
He
their
was
marriage,
calling
he
for
sold
you.
his failing auto
I
parts
tried,
business in the
but
city
they hit me.
and moved with
Who took
Anna to
him?
her inherited countryside
He
cottage.
documented everything.
He revived abandoned land, built a productive
These
farm,
drawings are incredible.
employed local workers,
He was
and
quite the
earned
artist.
admiration from the whole village. Yet Anna remembered the night everything changed. Michael had helped unload heavy bags of cement, complained of back pain, and continued working through the evening. By morning, she found him lifeless on the floor. At the morgue, she was told his heart was as worn as that of an 80-year-old man. She could not understand how such a strong man could collapse so suddenly. Everyone mourned him: neighbors, workers, even people from the city. Her parents begged her to return home, but Anna refused. She could not abandon the farm he built. To support the workers, she stepped down from her library job. The elderly retired school principal, Nina, replaced her. Despite Nina's stern personality, her presence helped Anna slowly readapt to daily responsibilities. Yet the cottage was suffocating. Every cup, every corner, every piece of furniture reminded her of Michael. Still, she vowed to continue his work. One day, Anna gathered the courage to clean the barn, Michael's one forbidden space. Inside, she noticed a loose board and found a hidden compartment. Inside lay a worn notebook, tied with a faded cord. It began with, "I write because I have no one else to talk to, not even my wife." It was Michael's diary. As she read, Anna's world slowly unraveled. Her husband had lived a life she knew nothing about: his painful past with Elizabeth, his first love, his heartbreak, and eventually the secret that would change everything. Through Michael's diary, Anna learned the truth he had carried alone. Elizabeth had been his childhood sweetheart, someone he almost worshipped. He saw her daily during school years, but after graduation, she drifted away, uninterested in him. One day, he saw her in the arms of a wealthy suitor named Max. She mocked Michael, saying their relationship had been just an experience. Broken, Michael swore never to love like that again. Years later, he met Anna. At first, he thought she was ordinary, but her gentleness and sincerity won him over. He wrote about falling deeply in love with her, how she healed wounds he thought would never fade. They married, moved to the countryside, rebuilt their lives, and dreamed of children that never came. Then came a twist Anna never expected. After many years, Michael unexpectedly ran into Elizabeth again. Her rich husband had thrown her out. She was destitute, fragile, desperate. Michael helped her briefly, and in a moment of weakness, one he regretted for the rest of his life, they were intimate. Months later, she gave birth to a boy with a serious heart condition. Unable to cope, she abandoned the child in an orphanage. When Michael found out, he secretly arranged a DNA test. The result was clear. The baby, Philip, was his. His diary described how he visited Philip. The child was pale, sickly, but had the eyes of someone who had already suffered too much. Michael wanted to bring him home, but the thought of hurting Anna paralyzed him. So he supported the child in secret, sending money, taking extra work, exhausting himself physically to pay for medical care. He wrote, "I am killing myself to save a life I cannot abandon." Towards the end of the diary, the entries became shorter, filled with guilt and fear. "I want to tell Anna everything, but I'm afraid I will lose her. If anything happens to me, I beg you, Anna, don't let my son disappear into the world alone." Anna closed the diary with trembling hands. The pain was immense, but so was the truth. Michael had loved her, even while drowning in guilt, and the child, Philip, was innocent. The next morning, Anna packed the documents and boarded a bus to the city. She had one mission now: find her husband's son. At the orphanage, Anna discovered that Philip had been temporarily placed with an elderly caregiver in a nearby village due to overcrowding. She rushed there immediately. As she approached the house, she noticed a dark SUV parked outside, a rare sight in such a quiet area, and the gate left wide open. Her heart tightened with dread. Inside, she found the caregiver injured on the floor. Between sobs, the old woman described what had happened. She and Philip had just returned from picking raspberries. While she was mixing them with milk and sugar in the kitchen, Philip played in the hallway. Suddenly, two strong men stormed into the house, grabbed the boy, and shoved her so violently that she struck her head and briefly lost consciousness. By the time she woke, Philip was gone. Anna immediately called the police, then jumped into her car and sped down the only road out of the village. Earlier, she had seen a dark SUV. Now she was certain it was the same one. She chased desperately, but the road split and they vanished. She pulled over, buried her head in the steering wheel, and sobbed. When the police arrived, she told them everything, including her suspicion that Elizabeth might be involved. Officers quickly tracked Elizabeth down, but found her relaxing in a hotel room, genuinely bewildered by the accusation. With no plate number, no witnesses, and no cameras, the investigation stalled. Philip had disappeared without a trace. The following days were a blur of despair. Anna barely slept. She wandered between the police station, the village, and the orphanage, begging for news. But there was none. Seeing her daughter collapse under grief, Anna's mother, Amanda, revealed a family secret she had kept hidden for decades. A jewelry box filled with antique gold and emerald pieces, once belonging to a wealthy merchant her great-grandmother had worked for. The box had been buried for generations out of fear the authorities would accuse the family of theft. Amanda dug it up and placed it in front of her daughter. "Maybe now," she said with trembling hands, "this treasure can finally save someone." With these jewels, Anna now had resources, money to fund private investigators, bribe officials if necessary, travel anywhere Philip might be traced. It was the first real hope since the boy vanished. She vowed she would not stop until she found him. With the money from her family's hidden jewelry, Anna was finally able to hire private specialists to track leads and push the investigation forward. After days of sleepless waiting, a miracle came. Philip was found. He was alive, weak, frightened, and exhausted, but alive. Doctors confirmed he urgently needed heart surgery, and thanks to the funds Anna had secured, the operation was finally possible. She stayed by his bedside through the entire recovery, refusing to leave even for sleep. Weeks later, Philip opened his eyes and whispered his first words to her. When he reached out his small hand, Anna knew instantly that he was her son, as much as Michael's. She filed for adoption, refusing guardianship, refusing state support. "I don't want help," she told the officials firmly. "He is my child." And from that moment, Anna raised Philip alone. Years passed. Under her care and Joseph's steady support on the farm, life slowly regained order. Philip grew stronger, curious, cheerful. The farm flourished again under the pair's leadership. And then one autumn afternoon, Christopher arrived, a historian researching rural development. Quiet, perceptive, and warm. He soon became someone Philip adored. Anna, too, found herself unexpectedly comforted by him. Christopher became a regular visitor. He worked with Joseph in the orchard, read Michael's old notebooks, helped restore long-forgotten parts of the property, and often stayed for dinner. Conversations stretched late into the night, and though Anna still carried her grief, Christopher's presence softened its edges. Then, just as life seemed steady again, disaster struck. At the university where Christopher taught, a manipulative student named Margaret, a spoiled girl from an influential family, became infatuated with him. When Christopher politely rejected her advances and maintained professional boundaries, she reacted with vindictive fury. She accused him of harassment. Terrified of damaging their reputation or angering Margaret's powerful father, the university immediately suspended Christopher, announced an internal investigation, and treated him as if he were guilty from the start. His reputation crumbled overnight. Students whispered, colleagues distanced themselves. Christopher, a man defined by integrity, was suddenly cast as a villain. But help came from an unexpected place. the husband of Christopher's ex-wife, a morally driven lawyer who believed in Christopher's innocence. He intervened directly, demanding that both parties undergo a polygraph test. Christopher agreed without hesitation. Margaret refused. Her refusal exposed the truth. She had lied. Facing undeniable evidence, the university apologized and invited Christopher back. But the damage, the humiliation, the abandonment was too deep. He resigned. Days later, exhausted and stripped of his former life, he arrived at Anna's home. When Philip ran to greet him, and Anna met his eyes with quiet understanding, Christopher whispered, "I lost everything, except what I found here." And from that moment, a new chapter quietly began. In the spring, Christopher devoted himself entirely to the farm. He studied every notebook Michael had left and took responsibility for turning the land into something extraordinary. He hired workers, planned a full orchard, and spent long days, and sometimes nights, cultivating the fields. Whenever Anna tried to help, he would gently scold, "You have enough on your plate. Go to the office." Year after year, the land transformed. Apple trees, cherry trees, raspberry bushes, currants, plums, pears, apricots, and sprawling grapevines filled the once barren fields. Visitors came not just from neighboring villages, but from the entire region. Officials praised the farm as a model agricultural project. Christopher worked tirelessly, but his heart remained anchored in family. 2 years after their marriage, Anna, previously told she could never conceive, began experiencing dizziness and nausea. The local doctor smiled as he shared what felt impossible. She was pregnant. She asked, shocked, "How can this be?" "There's always a chance," the doctor replied. "Your case is proof." When Christopher learned the news, he was overwhelmed with joy. Soon after, the ultrasound revealed not one but 2 babies, twins. Anna reflected often on Michael, his sacrifice, his dreams, and whether he ever imagined his farm would flourish like this. She remembered him with gentle sadness, but her love belonged entirely to the family she had now. Philip, growing strong and healthy, Christopher, her devoted husband, and the soon-to-arrive twins whose lives began where sorrow once lived. Standing in the orchard one evening, watching the sun fall over endless rows of thriving trees, Anna felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Michael's legacy had not only survived, it had become the foundation of a new, fuller life. Her journey had begun with loss, betrayal, and pain, but it led her to motherhood, love, healing, and a family she once believed she could never have. And as Philip ran laughing between the trees, Anna understood the truth Michael had written, but never said aloud. From broken things, new life can still grow.